What's going on, everyone? So, Stephen A. Smith was recently on the Paul George podcast and had some very high praise in regards to DeMarcus Cousins. So, he said, I look at a guy like DeMarcus Cousins. I don't like the way he's being treated. He got game, bro. And I'm not going to rest. You've got people looking at me and he's not a fit. I'm like, shut the hell up. DeMarcus Cousins right now would be a top 5 big man in basketball, period. He also added, with his skill set, his body, his strength, his basketball IQ, his shooting ability, everything, he would be a top 5 player. I don't think he meant top 5 player, top 5 center, right? He shouldn't have been this way. Shouldn't have been that way. All right, y'all. Come on, man. Where's forgiveness at? Where's compassion? Where's understanding? Now, DeMarcus Cousins is an unbelievable center talent. And injuries really derailed his career. He was arguably the best center in the league. If he never got injured, might be the best center in the league right now. Again, his ability to pass the ball, be hard-nosed, play defense, shoot the 3-ball, shoot the mid. I mean, the guy could do everything. The guy was an absolute beast and an absolute monster. But unfortunately, like we've seen with many people in just sports, period, injuries can really derail people. And that's kind of where DeMarcus Cousins is at. Now, do I think that DeMarcus Cousins should be out of the league? No. I think he has game. And I do agree to an extent with Stephen A. Smith. I don't know if he would be a top 5 center in the league, but I do think that he could be one of the better centers. The problem is he can't stay healthy. I mean, he was even just in Puerto Rico and was doing solid. Don't get me wrong. He was playing very well. But again, gets hurt and gets, he tore his groin or something like that. Like, the guy just can't stay healthy. And he's been good in the back. Like, he was really good for Denver, which was surprising why they let him go, because he was great in that backup role. He's been great on numerous occasions for several teams in that backup role. He can't stay healthy. He can't stay on the court. And even his stint in Milwaukee and his stint with Denver, he played about, 15 to 16 minutes per game. But anytime he had to play 20 plus minutes, the guy had to take a game off or two. But based on reports and stuff like that, he has slimmed down. He's kind of been working and ramping up, taking care of his body, and he wants an NBA stint. And look, the Lakers, they need a center. DeMarcus Cousins, based on what Rob Pelinka relayed as to what he's looking for a center, DeMarcus Cousins fits that seamlessly. DeMarcus Cousins also would be a solid backup. I think if he could stay healthy, he could be one of the best backup centers, if not the best backup centers in the league. I don't know if he could be a top 5 center in the league, but I do think that he has the potential to be one of, if not the best backup centers. I just think he's not in the position to be playing, 35 minutes a game or 30 minutes a game or anything like that. I think if he could come in and could play 15 minutes a game, night in and night out, and play more than 48 games, which is basically what he played last year. And the year prior, he played 41 games. So he's basically been a 48 game per season type guy for the last 5 years. He's 33 years old, so he's not that old to where he can't play. He also has chemistry with the Lakers, right? He has an understanding with LeBron James and understanding with Anthony Davis. Him and Anthony Davis played together with the Lakers. They played together with the Pelicans. So if he could come in and he could provide 15 minutes a game, which is all the Lakers would really need anyway, DeMarcus Cousins, I'm not against at all. I've talked about this before. I wouldn't hate it. If the Lakers, we got news today or tomorrow or whatever, that the Lakers signed DeMarcus Cousins or brought him in for training camp or something like that, I would be all for it. I would be pumped for it. It's just the one thing that holding him back is just he cannot stay healthy. He cannot stay on the basketball court. And it's just You're only as good as when you can show up to work. You could be the best basketball player of all time, but if you can only play 30 games a season and can't stay healthy, and we can't count on you in the playoffs or anything, like it's pointless. Where you could go get a guy like Myers Leonard who probably play the whole season, right? And still provide a lot of the same stuff that a DeMarcus Cousins would. But I do like the idea of DeMarcus Cousins with his toughness and a veteran leader and a guy that can really just not get bullied, not get manhandled. You could throw on Jokic. He has an understanding. He could guard him. He can make things tough. Like, I love the idea of that. It's just, one, can he stay out of his own mental, right? And stay focused. And two, can he stay healthy? Right? It's like, and look, I get some people might be thinking, well, Christian Wood, right? But Christian Wood's able to stay healthy, and he's a 17-7 guy. And he's still young. He's like 27, right? You look at DeMarcus Cousins, you're like, he's 33 years old, which again, it's not that old by today's standards, but still, he's older, can't stay healthy. He's a locker room issue at times, just with his outbursts and stuff like that. He's a walking technical, right? He loves to get technicals. He usually leads the league in them when he plays, right? It's like you start, checking off the list of pros and cons, and it's like there's just so many cons, right? Like, if he was Sacramento Kings DeMarcus Cousins, this wouldn't be a problem. Teams would be lining up to sign him, right? Special vet minimum, like, stop, right? Like, there's no way. And so to bring him in on a non-guaranteed deal, I actually don't mind it at all. And I've talked about this before. I've spoken about, like, hey, should the Lakers go and try to look at DeMarcus Cousins? I am all for it. If the Lakers, again, tomorrow sign DeMarcus Cousins, or at least, like, why not bring him into training camp, right? Like, what do you have to lose? Tell him, hey, we want to bring you into training camp, work you out, see how you look. Let's get some looks. Even if you get Christian Wood, right? You could still use a guy like DeMarcus Cousins. And DeMarcus Cousins might be good for Christian Wood, because if Christian Wood starts trying to get in his feelings and stuff, you got a guy in DeMarcus Cousins that can put him back in reality real quick. I like the idea of DeMarcus Cousins as like a sort of enforcer, as a sort of bully, as sort of, that just no nonsense, like let's go type thing, right? I love the attitude of DeMarcus Cousins. And that's one of the things that I think makes him so great and really drives him. But it's also his biggest downfall, because he doesn't know when, where, and time of place. But if he can just fit in, play his role, not let his emotions get the best of him, I definitely think he deserves an opportunity. I definitely think he could impact this Lakers roster, right? Like, again, this guy is a guy that can do everything. Everything. He's a big body that can clog the paint, block shots, defend, right? He's a guy that can shoot the three ball, shoot the mid-range. You can run pick and pops, pick and rolls. He's also a very underrated passer. He has chemistry with this Lakers team, or at least, your two stars in LeBron James and Anthony Davis. You look at DeMarcus Cousins and you look at what this team needs, and it sounds like a match made in heaven. It sounds like a perfect answer. It's like, well, you have all these concerns. Here you go. Here it is on a silver platter. DeMarcus Cousins. It's just, can he show that he is willing to play it cool, so to speak, right? Who I believe it was Bob Meyer said said publicly in an interview that he spoke to DeMarcus Cousins. I think this was like midway through last year, and he said, DeMarcus Cousins asked me, why can't I get a job? Why don't teams want me? Why aren't teams calling? And he said, because teams don't know what you're going to do. Teams are scared of what you're going to do and how you are going to act. And I've said it before. I've said it again. I've even talked about Christian Wood, where if Christian Wood doesn't get his act together, he'll be out the league too in a year or two. And I've had people say, like, hey, no, he's too good. He's too talented. We have seen Very talented players and guys that can have an impact and guys that can still play. And I mean, even guys like Allen Iverson, legend, Hall of Famer, right? He had another probably 3 to 5 years in the gas tank. Couldn't get past his own ego. He's out the league. Carmelo Anthony, same thing. It took him getting out. Luckily, he was able to fix it and buy in and accept the role, and then he was able to come back and play a couple more years. But we have seen players that just haven't been able to get over that hump, or they get that stigma, or they get that reputation, and they're never able to get past it. And before you know it, you're out the league. And with DeMarcus Cousins, it's like we're taking a risk with his injury history. And then on top of that, it's like we're taking a risk with him in the locker room, or we're taking a risk with him on the court. It's so many risks that it starts to outweigh the low risk, high reward, right? Where if he comes in and he's willing to buy in, he's willing to play his role, he's willing to play his part, and he can keep his cool, then all of a sudden that low risk, high reward looks pretty. So I'm all for it. Like, if the Lakers really are like, hey, let's bring DeMarcus Cousins in for training. Like, what do you have to lose? Like, it's training camp. Tell them we're giving you a training camp invite with a real opportunity to earn a roster spot. You're a position of need. We could use you, right? Some nights you might play 25 minutes. Some nights you might play 10. Some nights you're going to get DMPs. But are you willing to come in, play your role, buy into the team, be a part of this common goal to try to go win a chip, and, do what is necessary for the betterment of the team and keep your cool? Bring them in for a training camp, give them an opportunity to make the roster, and just see what happens. Worst case, you just say, hey, man, sorry. Good luck. Best case, it works out, and maybe he's a big piece to help win an NBA championship. Kind of be our Dwight Howard of 2020. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Somewhere in between? What do you think of DeMarcus Cousins? Would you want him? Would you not? Love to hear it. Let me know.